Good evening, everyone. Thank you again so much for tuning in. This is the Real Deal Fam. I am Andre, and this is the gorgeous wife, Essie.
It's already up here. How you doing? I am the boss of the show, but he is the head of the house.
Y'all know what it
And
is.
that's just what it is.
Thank y'all again so much. And first off, we'd like to thank everybody who have become a recent subscriber. We've absolutely appreciate it. And if you hadn't had the opportunity yet, please go ahead and hit that button now. We would highly appreciate it again.
We are almost at 100 subscribers, if not there yet. So if you wouldn't mind, just hit that button, subscribe. We got a great show, great information, great topics on our history and who our people are and our culture, things we talk about, things we do. And that's just it. That's just what it is.
That's it. Real people dealing with real issues. With that being said, we're going to dive right in. We're going to talk about tonight this new audio-visual Black is King by Beyonce and the impact it's having on the culture and the way I think African Americans and a lot of people, even Africans on the continent, the way they looking at it and how it's impacting us as a whole.
Witchy, itchy, witchy, itchy, witchy, itchy, no.
Allegedly. But there's a lot of accusations.
Allegedly. Jeremiah 52. Declare ye among the nations, and publish and set up a standard. Publish and conceal not. Say, Babylon is taken, Baal is confounded, Murdoch is broken in pieces, her idols are confounded, and her images are broken in pieces.
Going around. If you hadn't had an opportunity yet to see it, basically what it is, I think it's like a follow-up off the Lion King project she did a couple years ago. And it was filmed over in Africa and a lot of different countries over there.
Secretly, they said the African people didn't really know. She just hooked up with some artists and secretly recorded it while she was there.
She did. She worked with some of the more popular artists over on the continent. She employed a lot of different dancers. I mean, it was similar to the one she did, Lemonade, in Louisiana, the same concept. But this time it was filmed in Africa.
Well, the problem is the people are saying she appropriated their culture. African.
Well, Miss Tina says, how can you appropriate the culture when you are the culture? She say they are Black.
They say that Beyonce has a reputation of jack moving people's dance moves, and some artists even say some of their songs and different things she likes to jack move and take it and put her name on it. And that's what the Africans are saying, that she allegedly took a lot of their dance moves and different things and appropriated it to her. And so what we were saying is, how Miss Tina want to know, how can you appropriate it when you're African? Well, even the Africans know you're not African, okay? You are a tribe of Judah, okay? You're not African.
Nigeria, the seventh most populated country in the world. And every day within this dizzying frenzy, thousands stop what they're doing for mincha, the traditional Jewish afternoon prayer. This community of Nigerian Jews belongs to the country's third ethnic group, the Igbo.
Being Jewish in Nigeria is very, very difficult, very, very hard, because every day you are persecuted, every day you are faced with 10 opposition. They don't want you even to mention the word Jewish. But here, we have this difficulty. Still, we are progressing. We're making an effort to serve Hashem, even in these difficult times.
In America today, you see a very large movement of African Americans who say that they're the real chosen people, that they're the children of Israel, they're the Judeans. You know, so what are they just trying to create an identity for themselves because they were slaves, or is there really something here? And the answer is, most likely there is something there. And most likely, maybe that they were the original Israelites, and maybe that the Jewish people today, who are white, Caucasian people, came in a little bit later on.
Tribe of Judah, okay? You're not African. You're not the descendant of Ham.
Well, I think what Miss Tina was saying is that they are Black. So everything they doing, even though Africans are African and we are African American, they Black and we Black. And so we have a lot of similar things. That's where we come from over on the African continent. So I think that's where Miss Tina was going with
They're
that.
your brethren, but that That's their stuff. You got your own stuff. You're blessed. And the fact is that you keep going over there. This is, I don't know how many albums she done went over to Africa and take their stuff and don't invest in their continent or their countries and different things like that. You keep going over there, taking their stuff, and you're not investing in their cities, roads, building infrastructure like, what's his name that's going over there doing electricity?
Oh, Akon.
Yeah, Akon. I mean, yeah, you're not investing. So they're like, you appropriate, taking and stealing and not giving us nothing.
Right. And a lot of people, like, we don't know what Beyonce doing under the table, but this is what the Africans saying. If you go look online, you'll see a lot of them disputing and kind of taken aback by the way she came at the whole project. Some of the countries feel kind of slighted. I think it was only filmed in 4 countries. It definitely would have been tough for the young lady to get in all 54 countries. But I guess she did what she had. Like we say, Disney backed the project. So I don't know how much control she had of that in terms, especially with the lockdowns. But that wasn't really the issue. Like we saying, I think a lot of celebrities, including Beyonce, they're not understanding how things starting to move right now. You got to be, if you part of the culture and you're not going to appropriate it, you need to always know where they at when they at that particular point.
Well, there's several issues here. Let's see. One of the first ones is she went over there representing voodoo stuff. And the people over there like, we Muslim, we Christian, we're Hebrew or whatever, and that's a small section of the population, and you putting that out there represent Africa like it's like, the backwoods somewhere, lions roaming around, the cities are not developed, and that's the same way the white man always tells how Africa looks, and so they're upset about that. She could have went over there and represented Africa as a newer, modern age cities, more progressive and rich and wealthy, and the way it is currently. And so, they're upset about that.
Yeah, that's kind of similar to when if somebody came over to the States and all they filming is inside the inner cities in the neighborhood, and they're not really showing all the different aspects of the African American culture. They just saying, oh, they hood and ghetto. That would rub you the wrong way.
That's the same thing they do to African Americans. They all the time overseas. They only show the neighborhood. They show killing and everything. They think it's the Wild West, and every African American lives in the Wild West. I mean, that's true for a large our population, but that's not. Even if you live in the neighborhood, that's not typically how it is.
Right, but the people who typically control how we're portrayed across the world is probably, that's why I said Beyonce might not have had complete control over how the whole project, where it was filmed and
that's
how
what
it was put out.
She had complete control, so she took some stuff and wanted to give credit to even some of the African artists. So the other thing was that they said that since she had complete control and it was her project, and it's called Black is King, why is Disney over the project when she could have released it herself?
That's where you get in the dicey space. That's where they say appropriating the culture. Number one, Disney hadn't done anything like that before. And if they do things similar to that, it's always portrayed, just like they say, kind of jungle-ish. They never show any progressive aspects of Africa, never show the people progressing, doing different things. And that's the whole issue. And so that's what Beyonce
they went over there and filmed that and didn't ask the people. I mean, you coming to my continent filming this about me. Then you got this giant movie star representing me as like I'm living in the desert and doing stomping around and all different stuff. People like that's not who we are. I'm sorry.
Well, Miss Tina tried to go on air and tried to defend the whole project. Nobody heard from Beyonce as of yet. I don't think she did an interview as of yet. But I think back here at the house, we having a lot of problems with it because of the imagery. When you look at it, you see the costumes, like the image of Baal, kind of devil worship looking, stuff like that, stuff that we ain't even accustomed to, we don't even rock with.
She went over there representing voodoo, okay? Voodoo and some satanic stuff, and the Oshun, all these devil stuff, all these occult symbols, all these different Masonic symbols. And she thought that was going to be all right with the Africans and with the African Americans, and we just ain't having that.
Right. And one thing I can't understand is why every time somebody come into some money, they get kind of weird, kind of get crazy. If you was brought up in a church and you got a spiritual background, just cause you go in the music industry or something like that, you don't have to start putting forth all those images and stuff like that. It get kind of crazy.
Well, the problem is Beyonce, everybody on track now down Beyonce's background. They don't want all of her lineage and her, one of her great grandmas or whatever was what was this voodoo lady? Who is it?
I can't remember the lady, but she out of Louisiana.
Yeah, the biggest voodoo queen in Louisiana was her ancestor, and so several of her ancestors allegedly have been practicing in voodoo and different things. And so now people are like looking at it like, what the heck? And then so one of her bandmates had filed some court papers several years ago that Beyonce was doing some witchy stuff and
she say practicing extreme witchery.
Practicing extreme witchery on the lady, putting curses and stuff on it was her drummer. So she tried to file a restraining order on her, and the judge everybody thought that was crazy. You just toss that out. That's a mess. But now this is like several reports coming out that this is happening. So now Beyonce got that church, the Beyonce church, just like Kanye had the Kanye church with the eye horse, that satanic symbol. So Beyonce got this Beyonce church where they worship her and her songs and stuff. She done purchased a church down in New Orleans, all kind of weird stuff.
Yeah, in California, I think it was. It was a Catholic church, and they had a service called Beyonce Mass, if I'm not mistaken. And they were singing.
They have services.
Right, so they use Beyonce songs, I guess, as inspiration.
Worshiping.
Yeah, so
like they're at church.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I was talking to my wife about that. I say if even no matter what type of celebrity, you're gonna hear a lot of salacious stuff about you in the media, and people gonna portray you in a lot of different lights. But if you at home and you look across the tube and you see somebody worshiping you at a church, at that moment, you're going to get on the phone, you're going to get an interview right then with whatever network you can and get that cleared up. Because that is 100% completely
y'all
inappropriate.
was sitting up there letting her do her voodoo thing all in front of you. Now, the people who practice voodoo down in Louisiana, they'll show you like images and stuff of her how she's incorporating her voodoo stuff in the performances and stuff that you watch, like how she's dressing up with all this like this halo stuff on her head and all these goddesses and all this stuff. So
you see a lot of
all the different movements and chants and stuff she's doing. They're telling you that this is part of the voodoo stuff that they do practice.
And that's the thing. Most of us, we don't even know nothing about that, man.
Your grandma tell you don't let nobody touch your hair because they'll get it and put it in something and they'll make you cuckoo and go on the bird's nest and stuff. We talked about it in another video. The bird might get it and it might make you crazy, or somebody might get it and put a spell on you. Now your grandma don't seem so crazy now, does?
Yeah, with all the old little sins.
Yeah, don't go to eat at somebody else's house because they might put their blood in your spaghetti or whatever and they'll enchant you or whatever. That sound like Kanye, huh? No,
yeah, but I mean, the problem when you have things like that, like we say, the service that they performing out there in San Francisco, is that's why I say I would think Beyonce would
denounce that.
I would think she would come on and she would immediately address that because she have a lot of young fans. There's nothing with appreciating the young lady's talent and things of that nature, but to be worshiping her is totally inappropriate. The country is already being misled, already completely lost.
The problem is you got a lot of reports about Beyonce practicing and doing these different things. It's not just Beyonce, it's a lot of different people in the industry that are practicing it. Now, allegedly, we're just going to put that out there because allegedly reports that the Kardashians practice. Tom Brady's wife, allegedly, she's a Wiccan or whatever, which...
Well, they'll mind, they're a whole different
So
group.
now you thought the coin toss was just so... it like goes against odds how many times they won. Like thousands of times they won the toss-up. I mean, that's like, it goes against any kind of numerical equation.
Right. The reason why I'm focusing on Beyonce, because just like Miss Tina say, they are the culture. They are black. The other folk, I don't really know about what they get into, but for Beyonce, them,
No,
like,
that her great grandmother way back is from some Haitian, and they practice some kind of satanic Catholicism or something. Where I don't know. It's just
right.
a
I'm
mess.
talking about literally like Chris Jenner and
They're from
Giselle
Albania.
and all of them. Yeah, they.
Oh yeah, overseas.
Right. I'm talking about Beyonce though. Miss Tina say they black. And so the kind of stuff that's being put out there about them, if it's not true, it's extremely damaging.
Well, you just don't want to believe it because you just think she's so warm. You think she's so nice. You think she's so beautiful. You just don't want to be. But Medusa was beautiful, okay? Medusa was beautiful. Every man wished that she wasn't what she was because they always wanted to look at her. And as soon as they looked at her and they fell in a trance,
right, but
it was over.
That's understandable. What I'm saying though is that if this stuff is not true, and for people to be said, for somebody to call you a witch, and you know she got 3 or 4 kids, I don't know the
And she
exact
had her
number.
kids all in the videos and stuff with all that satanic stuff.
Right, and so that's what I'm saying. You want to get that stuff handled and addressed. You don't want that going down the family line, your kids to be dealing with issues by people saying, oh, y'all witches, you came up through witchcraft and things like that. And for people to say it and it not be true would be damaging. Now, if it is true, then we got a real problem going on here, a serious problem.
Well, the problem that many African Americans are having when you in Africa, or you appropriate the culture Egypt. You're trying to make black people believe that these symbols and stuff belong to them over here. You was prisoner in Egypt, okay? You still over here in the United States. This is Babylon. That stuff don't belong to you. You're not supposed to be partaking in all them symbols and different things like that. Now you wonder why the white folks don't want you to take their statues and stuff down. That stuff satanic. Those people was evil. All them Confederate soldiers and naming your schools and stuff after them, that was killing black people, doing all kind of evil stuff to them, buck breaking them and pedophilia with the children. All same stuff got going on now. Babylon, that's what was going on back then. And so you did no.
Yeah, and I mean, you let them have that. If that's what they want them idols, they want all that type of thing to worship. That's, like we say, that's not our culture. We survived and we went through all the slavery, all the different things like that.
I don't know nobody's mom or grandma that's going to sit up there and defend them doing some satanic stuff. And you got Miss Tina up there looking like a witch herself talking about, no, girl, what the heck? You can't be defending that.
I agree 100%.
With your grandbabies up there in the video with all that mess?
Right. And anybody,
well, if that's down their line.
And then if you in the word and you a Christian and you what have you practice your faith, I don't think you'll be putting on things that's contradictory to your faith. You'll be putting on things that symbolize devil worship.
The problem is she's so beautiful and enchants you, so you just don't want it to be true. What was it, Samson and Delilah? I mean, she was beautiful, but she was a witch. She cut that man's hair off, and he had no more powers. So the idea that just because somebody is beautiful and that they can shook and jive and do all that stuff, and they're not what they are, the veil is coming off. And so
you saying she basically seducing the public.
Right, because you don't want her to be, because she's so beautiful. You know, she looked like you, but she ain't you. If she worshiping something else, no. And the other thing is, so if she was so good and trying to give back to people, why she didn't check her man all them times when he was robbing, stealing, and doing different things to the African American community? So we're gonna go down the list of stuff she ain't never come out and reject against her man, Jay-Z. So the first thing is when he got said he was owner to the team for white folks.
The New Jersey Nets.
Yeah, so the idea was that
Brooklyn Nets.
Yeah, you claimed they needed to have a minority leader. So he had like less than 1% ownership of the team and claimed he owned the team and was a major owner, just so they could go down there and get all the black houses and stuff and rebuild the convention center or whatever, arena or whatever it was. So it was a shake a moose. I mean, it was a fake a move.
Well, that's the whole thing right now. Black people starting to wake up and starting to see celebrities and see these people for what they were and what they are. So you got to move away from that. It's time for you to get back in your word. It's time for you to get your mind back right. You can't look at Beyonce just like my wife says, she dancing and singing and looking pretty, and you get seduced. And then there's never there's never a mention of anything about faith, and so that's what make it so easy for you to detect.
Talking about uplifting your people, you robbing from them. And the no faith. And the second thing that Jay-Z did was, remember when he was supposedly talking about some prison, get the prison population down, then go in and invested in the what was it, the bracelet company,
like the GPS ankle bracelets.
Made major money on that ankle bracelet and all kind of prison investments that they made, but yet they supposed to be trying to help their people.
Well, it's always coming upon everybody in the public that do their own due diligence and their own homework. So just because a person can sing or dance, you can't have them influence the other aspects of your life. And for that church out there in San Francisco, I have to keep going back to that because that's so
they're worshiping
crazy.
her.
Why do you need a Beyonce song if you're in church to get closer to God? It doesn't require Beyonce. She don't have to be involved in the entire process.
She should have denounced that. No. Okay? Right. As far as we know, that didn't happen. The third thing was, remember Kaepernick? Jay-Z tried to do a shake a move and twist the move and get the contract when the NFL deal. And she didn't never come out and say nothing. And they didn't never invest, as far as we know, to the public in the African American community to do anything besides fake a move and steal, jack, rob, and do all kind of stuff. Even her, a lot of the dancers and stuff that used to dance for her and Land Band, a lot of them have complained that stuff just wasn't right, and so she does a lot of trying to cover that stuff up to keep the image up. But Carrie Hilson, she ruined a lot of women's careers. Carrie Hilson, I think she came out and wrote a song, and then Usher allegedly gave it to Beyonce. Beyonce put her name on it, and they bumped and messed up Carrie Hilson's career. Sierra's career, Beyonce dogged. That's the reason why Sierra went down, allegedly.
Well, she landed on her feet.
Rihanna wrote a song about it and say, "You have my money," talking about Jay-Z and Beyonce like they was jack moving. I mean, a lot of dirt.
Yeah, I think that for me, that's where it came in to question that. Is it that a lot of people just have a lot of disdain for her and Jay-Z, and so that's why when they see the video, when they see the project, they immediately go negative, or is the project straight up what it is? And your eyes tell you, you looking at what you see, and then you're looking at different images, you looking at exploitation, you looking at a lot of different things taking place.
So a lot of times, it's just like Django Unchained, where if somebody looks like you, remember the overseer cat when they got to the house, and he was like, "What you got that black man in there for?" I mean, he's black. Yeah, you have somebody black because they're able to keep the population. They're called the boule. They're able to keep you tampered down. Okay,
right.
So if they look like you and operate like you and stuff, then you're more likely to trust and believe them, especially if they're beautiful. But until you see, you know what I'm saying?
But when you look at Beyonce, though, do she really try to influence you? I think what she does is just keep you kind of sleep. Like, she just entertains you. She doesn't she doesn't really put forth a message.
Using that voodoo on you to keep you
through her music.
Entranced.
Through her music.
Yeah, and the booty shaking and all that stuff. That's that voodoo stuff. I'm telling you.
I think it's overall the entire industry. When you look at artists like Katy Perry,
they be doing them demonic signs. Oh, that was
Lady
the other
Gaga.
thing. Jay-Z's whole record label, it was called what?
Which one?
That triangle stuff that they put up.
The Rockefeller one.
Yeah, what was that little triangle that they put up where I don't want to do it on TV now. I don't want y'all to be all woo woo woo.
Right. All those signs people say or like sending
those are satanic symbols and stuff they be holding up.
Right. Right, but I mean, like we say, you never know. Sometimes these people might be playing into that to keep
And they
it
stick
going.
their tongue out. I'll put some pictures up there to show you. But these are things that people are saying that these are satanic symbols. And then we'll put up the picture of what they're supposed to be representing, where she got all them horns and stuff on. I mean, she's putting these things out there, so she knows we're going to talk about them and compare them. I think now it is what it is. Either you represent the Lord or you represent other, and anything other is satanic.
Well, I think the influence is starting to wane now. People are starting to pull back a little bit. I don't think the same amount of interest was there as it would have been had it been a different time. People are starting to wake up, like I say, and understand. That's why you've heard so much backlash from the people on the
And
continent.
at a time like this, so that's number 4. At a time like this, when people are getting thrown out their house, starving, can't get the next stimulus, she's using her influence to drop a Voodoo or whatever the heck she did album, and don't try to use her influence to influence the politicians to try to get them to help the people, American people out.
Well, you said at a time like this, Disney just lost $5 billion. So the next best thing to do is just put Beyonce out there.
That's their last-ditch effort. That's why you see
she
all
can serve two purposes.
These entertainers out here caping and doing crazy stuff that's like, you're like, what? What's Kanye doing? That was his get out moment. So you remember these movies where they're like turning to other people, trying to... get out, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, Kanye had his get out moment, man. And us, where other people pretend to be you. We talked about that in the last video.
Yeah, so I think at some point, though, the public have to wake up and become mature.
Go back to the Lord.
Yeah, it's not really Beyonce's job. She just throw it out there. If it stick, y'all biting it and sucking it up. I mean, what they supposed to do? They just taking advantage of the people. Y'all allowing it. So it's time that everybody wake up and pull back from that. All she is an entertainer. That's where she started at. Who knows whether she come from a line of witches and performing voodoo and stuff, and probably was doing that from the beginning. But it definitely seems like that now when you see it. The images are there.
Yeah, and you go back all the way and you start seeing, and you're enlightened.
Right. Early in their career, when she first got started with Destiny's Child, you didn't see that. It was more straight
Yeah, when
up.
she got with Jay-Z, it was more that Illuminati, Freemason stuff,
Right.
all those demonic symbols, all that kind of stuff. You like, oh, no, what's going on with this girl?
Right. So that's something, even if it's not true, but they even be playing with that at a time like now. Our culture, we don't mix with that kind of stuff. That's why a lot of things have taken place in the African American community, because we adopting everybody else's mess and lifestyle.
And one of your grandmas and ancestors would have told you that mess was approached. They would have told you, turn that mess off. So if you don't want to fool with that, they be sending that mess off through the radio, and anytime it comes on, at first you be like, I don't like that song. Then after a while you be like, oh, it ain't that bad. After they play it 5 million times, turn that stuff off. If you don't accept that, don't listen to it. Turn it off. Don't buy it. And then you state your opinion. Get back right with the Lord and keep it pumping. Times is serious.
Yeah, but sin is very intriguing. It's very slippery. It looks nice. It sounds nice. And that's why when you hear those music, when you hear songs and stuff, you're like, man, that's really good. Beyonce dancing up a storm. And so you allow yourself to become seduced. But if you just look at it for what it is, where you see a bull head on the person's head, I mean, come on, man. That's out there.
And she's dressing up like the Statue of Liberty. That's a Freemason sign. That was like the goddess of Oshun or Isis or something. So that'll tell you it's goddess of Isis, and you over there oh yeah, Beyonce. No.
As y'all can see, she quite juiced up by this one.
I don't fool around. You don't know.
Yeah, I think it's something that Beyonce should have long ago denounced. She should have cleared all that stuff up.
Honey, you sitting there like it's an accident. That little girl put that mess out there on purpose.
Well, I tried to give you a benefit of the doubt, but I mean, if that's what folk into.
And her mom sitting up on TV defending it. So I don't know what you have to say. It can't be on accident.
No, I ain't saying no accident. Now, like I say, when if you see it with your eyes, that it's telling you what it is. So all the imagery is there, all the signs are there. Nobody denounced anything.
And she getting old, so when she dances, she can't even move no more. Girl, sit down somewhere.
Now you don't went
Act
somewhere
like
else.
a boss and start producing and start managing other people. But actually, I can't grant you no goodwill on that. That's evil, satanic, and I take anything back that I said. And you just got to keep moving.
Right. Black folk, get back to your the one true God. Get your mind right. Get your spirit right. Stay out of all that stuff.
Yeah, the Africans done told you they don't accept that. So stop trying to appropriate their culture.
And the problem is, we taking our gifts that we was given by the good Lord and being used and for the wrong thing. I mean, where you think you get all that singing and dancing and all that talent from? Now you're using it for the dark side. It just doesn't work out for you. The black community need to get their mind right, move right. If you see any of them entertainers or so-called celebrities doing something contradictory to the overall group, you already know what it is. They work. Number one, when you getting promoted like that, you on a big stage like that, and you got big companies, big corporations behind you
promoting satanic stuff. This is Babylon. It's gonna fall. So just
right.
stop.
I don't know when
none of that.
They never had our back in anything. All it was used for as a way to come up. That's it. So it's time for us to wake up as a people. Denounce that stuff. When you see them celebrities out there with all that kind of activity, it's a wrap. You don't support that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Call out for the Lord. He guide you, keep you, protect you. Start using your mind. Times are serious. We're looking for something to eat. We need some place to rest our head and be safe. Get back and team back up with your family. Why do you think that they're willing to open schools but not willing to open churches?
That's a really good question.
Some ain't right about that. Start using yourselves.
Yes,
Please.
and don't get sucked into that grandizing and that self-worship and having people worship you. That's the first sign you done went off the rails.
That's an idol. We talked about that last time. Lucifer is the principal idol in heaven. He got cast out. There was a giant battle. Now he down here making celebrities, making idols and crap. No.
Yeah, so that's it. Y'all stay focused. Keep the good Lord first, and everything else will work out from there. Leave the celebrities where they at. If they doing what they supposed to be doing, their talent will bless everybody. You don't need all that extra stuff. They leading you down a bad path. But yeah, we just wanted to touch on that a little bit on Black is King and Beyonce and the whole way it's affecting the culture. At the end of the day, like me and my wife say, just keep God first and everything else will be fine. And if they that's what they doing, boy, I tell you, good Lord gonna take care of that.
Leave that alone. Anything that ain't right ain't the Lord. Can't you tell He's doing His work? Stay out the way. Any celebrity that don't know and ain't been told, this is cancel culture.
Yeah, if you don't see how the country's struggling and the world's struggling as a whole,
boop, cancel.
And you still around here following that satanic stuff, you just
see. We don't even know how to say it right. Satan. We don't even know that ain't that thing.
No, we God-loving folk over here. So with
yeah,
that
back
being
what
said,
your grandma, great grandma told you. They didn't lead you straight. They sound crazy, but they was right. That mess.
Yes. Don't have them pull that switch out on you. So get right. But thank y'all again so much. If you hadn't had the opportunity, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And we really appreciate everybody. And if you have any comments, please share them. Leave them below. Let us know what you think about the whole situation and how you see it. It could only help and edify everybody. And again, thank y'all so much. Good night.
Good night.